Hey guys, Kev here, and I want to do rapid reviews on 4 knives. So let's start off with the Crispy Donut Community Salem. So this is a upcoming or current pre-order from the Crispy Donut community, started and founded by two law enforcement officers. I believe one is a corrections officer and one is a police officer. And they have a really unique and interesting Facebook group, which is the Crispy Donut Community. Go check it out. And yeah, they sent this to me to check out, get some feedback, obviously show it off for people, get a little hype going for their pre-order. And yeah, they have a discounted rate right now. I believe it's $15 off the normal price until Blade Show. So if you're interested in this, definitely go check that out. It's a very unique knife to me because it's like tactical meets donut. You just don't think of that. At least I don't. And they told me they are going to make scales available. If there's people who don't like the donut theme, you can get just basic, probably like black G10 scales. So if you like the design, but the sprinkles thing doesn't do it for you, there's an option. This is OEM by Kubi, and it is in S35VN steel. Really nice bead blast on this side. I think it looks really classy. Then you have obviously the sprinkles over here, and it's kind of two-layered. I don't know if you can see, but it's milled down, and the pink is underneath that blue. And then you have thumb studs and a flipper tab, and I gotta say the flipper tab is money. It is dialed perfectly. I almost wish it was just a flipper knife because the studs, they need a little bit of, I don't know, they're just a little tight and sharp. So reverse flicking is pretty difficult right-handed, at least without ripping your skin off. It's very tight detent, which I normally like, obviously. But this is pretty tight to the scale. You know what it reminds me of? It reminds me of the Tempest Microburst prototype. And I know he adjusted that in production to adjust the detent a little bit, soften the studs a little bit, I think. And so it's a little easier to reverse flick because you don't have a lot of room. And then, it's kind of sharp. It works. Once you get used to it, you just got to go straight up. Studs are good. But the flipper's really good. I really enjoy the flipper tab. The jimping is done extremely well, and it's very grippy. It actually reminds me a lot of one of our designs, the nip that we did with Kubi. So Kubi did the OEM work on this, and the way they do the jimping just grabs you so well. And it's the same way on this. So it's cool to see that. Love the action, dead centered. The clip looks good to go. Pops in pocket, pops out pocket. I didn't have any issues. You do have some kind of grabby areas with all this jimping, but it works. You can reverse grip this. You have a flat here, so if you're at the gas station Friday night, somebody's in trouble. They're going to see the sprinkle knife and think, you're an easy target, but no. Coming at you with my sort of dagger grind looking knife. It is definitely tactical. If you don't look at the sprinkles, it's like, damn, that's gnarly, right? Spear point blade like that. Yeah, it's cool. So I don't know if these are up for pre-order quite yet, but if not, it will be soon. And like I said, there's a bit of a discount for early access. So definitely check the link down below if you are interested in the Salem. I think it's cool. Thank you to the Crispy Donut community for sending this my way. I'm going to see if anybody in the pass around wants to check this bad boy out, and I will get it around to them. So that is the Salem. The next one up is the Mallory Designs Forest V2. So I did an unboxing video on this, and I went over pretty much the whole knife because I've had one before, and I love this knife. But I wanted to just quickly top it off here with a rapid review. This thing is gorgeous. I love the design overall. I love the just aesthetic of this knife, and I think the V2 really knocks it up a notch, right? I mean, it does bump it up, you know, 150 bucks or so as well, but you are getting a titanium scaled liner lock with, I believe, fat carbon inlays on it. I don't think the liner is titanium or there's a steel insert, so I think it's still just a steel liner lock, which that's the one gripe I have when those cost so much money. I'm just not sure why a steel liner lock should be $330 or whatever. But I also haven't priced one out with Artisan, so I have no idea. But I also like the fact that it's a steel liner lock because it's nice and thin, and obviously you have that steel on steel contact versus titanium where you have to carbonize it unless you do an insert, and if you do an insert, it has to be fatter. It's just the nature of the beast. So I like the choice there. I'm just curious on the pricing, but Dylan's a good dude, so I doubt that there's anything going on there. Really locked up, solid. You have a sort of a 3/4 backspacer. That's awesome. One of these long titanium clips, but it does feel like he tightened that up a little bit from the prototype. I'm not sure why it's blasted on the clip, but everything else is polished. Definitely would be nice to see that be polished. Would also love a filler tab here. Just screaming for a filler tab at this price point. Thumb flick's good. The detent is absolutely magnificent. It's so good. It has a great flick, left-handed, right-handed, no problem. Not a big thumb flick guy, but it does work pretty well on this. Yeah, I like it a lot, and if you guys are interested, definitely pick one up. They're $325 on pre-order. They do come with fat carbon, not this carbon fiber, so I do think that's part of the price point. You can get these polished versions, and you can get a blacked out version. So I do wish there was some kind of a like black tie with satin or a bead blast or something. I'm not a big polished guy, and I'm not a big all blacked out guy. So I think that's why ultimately I won't be picking one up unless I come across some money and, I just do it because I want to support Dylan, which I do. But yeah, and then I also wish it was like a belt satin for this price point, 325 bones. I would love to see a belt satin. That would really set it off. The filler tab, belt satin, that kind of stuff. All things that could be changing in production. I don't know. I don't have a list of changes, but it's fantastic. I'm nitpicking here a little bit. I highly recommend it. I don't think you would regret it if you picked one up. The action is also absolutely stupid. So, fantastic knife from a fantastic dude. The Dylan Mallory Designs Forest V2. The next one is from Ketuo, and this is the Telson. Shout out to White Mountain Knives for loaning this guy in. As we know, I'm a big sheep's foot blade fan. If you look at the knives that Colin and I design, a lot of them, if not all, have sheep's footy, Warney style blades. So this really looks good to me. Now, in pictures, it does seem like you could flick off of this, and you sort of can. But these are very smooth. It's like polished and soft, and it's an aesthetic window, not or fuller. It's not something meant to be flicked easily. You can do it, right? But I could flick this off the blade probably just as easy. So it's not because there's anything there to help you flick. It's just digging in to the blade and flicking. So it is not natural, and it does not feel great. So it is meant to be a flipper only knife. It totally feels like a concept build, a Max Ace build, I don't know, Kaiser, not Kaiser, but one of those. It feels concept-y to me, which is a positive. I mean, concept does great work. I do love the way the insert is hidden away under this sort of bolster. You have this green Damascus going on with blue. I would never think to combine those, but it does work here. It looks good. I think that's what gives me the concept feel. It kind of looks like that shard knife. Not a big fan of this clip. It's very tight and small ramp, but it does work. It's got some speed holes in it. But action's good. The detent isn't the strongest. Like, if I just break the detent, it pops out and it locks up, but it's just not, like, amazing, you know. For a flipper only, I'd want a little more gas, but if you flick it, man, it really does sound fantastic. I really dig it. So, yeah, really, really good. Ergonomics are pretty solid on this guy. Choking up's okay, but obviously you're going to be up on that blade. M390 on the steel. And I forgot to look up the price point on these. I keep forgetting to do that. But it is linked down below at White Mountain Knives. Shout out to them. Use code LEFTY10 for 10% off and free shipping in the US. And you'll know the price, and then you can decide instantly. If this is $200 or less, I think it's worth the money. If it's more, just because it's not my thing and you can't really flick it, I would pass, you know. But if it's in that $150 to $200 range, I think it's a solid piece for sure. And I'm not saying it's not worth more than that, just not to me, if that makes sense. So hopefully if you got one, it is to you. And apparently there's like a Zerk one or something, which would be pretty sick. So that is a new brand, apparently, the Ketuo. And it is the Telson. So shout out to White Mountain Knives. Thank you. The last one is going to be the banger in the bunch. This is by far the best Wii knife I have handled in a long time. This is the Wii Knives Zithius. I am not a big button lock guy anymore. I'm kind of falling off the button lock train. And there's just something about this knife that does it for me. It's just really fidgety. They've dialed everything perfectly. Let me give you another example of a button lock that everybody raves about, and I'm just not sold on this. I've had one in now for a week or two, and honestly, I'm kind of out on this. This is the Pyrite sheep's foot or Warney button lock, and the price difference here is going to be huge, I'm sure. This is probably going to be a $300 knife, close to it, right? This is going to be a, $49 knife. Now, it's an AR-RPM 9 steel, and it has steel handles, right? But they both have the button lock, and they are both very popular from their respective makers. But there's something weird about this Pyrite. The detent, if you'll notice, it's very strong when I'm flicking it from this side. But when I go over to the left side, you'll notice I'm not on the button. Try to show you. I am not on the button. Damn it. I wish I could show you. Right? I'm not on the button. It becomes like soft sometimes. It's really weird. It's hard to explain it. At first I was like, oh, I'm probably just pressing the button. But no. It's just a different detent on this side. And it's maybe because you're pushing pressure this way, it binds it up more, where this way it doesn't. I don't know. But it's interesting. Sometimes it's like too strong. You see how it almost like ripped it out of my hand? Normally I'd like that, obviously. But I want consistency. I don't want something that's like hard to gauge, right? But there you go. It's pretty good. We could check the body screws. I know sometimes just the alignment of things on a button lock can cause issues. Like I just felt like a jump when I did that. Like up here, something sort of jolted. Yeah, it's a little better. But anyway, sorry. I didn't mean to just bring in another knife. But there, it's just like completely binds up. I can't even flick it. And then other times it just like softly comes out. It's just not cool. I'm not into that. But beyond that, it also has, to me, weird blade to handle ratio. I feel like there's not enough blade for the handle. It's just a mental thing for me, and this one has it. It's not atrocious, but it is there. And then ergonomically, this is where this one falls short for me. This choil, because of the angle, and this is something I try to talk about sometimes, and it's hard to explain, but it looks like it has a nice choil, but that is a sharpening choil. That is not meant to be a finger choil. So you're meant to hold it back here, which is horrible. Because when I go to cut things, let me just rip this off. I don't know if it's going to cut this, obviously, but when I go to cut things, if I have a choil that big, I always catch it on stuff because I'm not like going like this. You know, I'm going to go just cut. And what happens is I get caught on that choil. So I want to choke up. But because of the angle of this, it pushes me this way. And it just wants to cut me, basically. It wants to poke the shit out of me. So I want to be choked up so I can get control and keep it from getting caught and hooked right here, right? And it just struggles with that. It's a cool knife, and I mean, for 50 bucks, it's really, really good. I'm not going to sit here and say it's bad, but the detent thing and the blade to handle ratio, I don't know. I get it. I know why people are excited, but dude, trust me, right now, if you're looking to buy one of these, just get the Echo. The CJRB or Artisan Echo is better. It looks very similar, but trust me, it's better. It's an amazing knife. Highly recommend the liner lock version. This is really good. I mean, the more I play with it, it's fine, right? But I don't know. I would get the Echo. So anyway, sorry. Just added another knife into the rapid review sesh there. Let me just slide this up. Putting this in my giveaway bin. All right. So the Wii Zithius. Big shout out to Tier 1 Gear and EDC Reviews. He loaned me this. This is their best knife in a long time. First off, you do have an actual choil that feels fantastic. You choke up perfectly. The jimping actually lands in a good spot for me, and you can cut really well with this. It's very sharp. I believe this is going to be 20 CV, but I could be wrong. Yep, 20 CV. It has a flipper tab and thumb studs. And guys, it just sounds amazing. Listen. Whoa, shit. Sorry, I almost dropped it. Experience, lefty, righty is pretty much the same. I mean, the button's there, left-handed. You got to just be careful to avoid it, but you can flick all the different ways just as easily. The detent doesn't, like, change with one hand to another. It's just a good knife, guys. And I'll tell you, the reason I've been off button locks is because it's hard to get a detent right on a button lock. I'm a big fan of a good, strong detent, and, you know, button locks tend to either be too strong that they're, like, binding, like that Pyrite, or they're just weak and it's not fun. This is perfect. I mean, it's enough detent that when I pull that, like, I just failed it, but it feels really good. I mean, it just feels great on that. The thumb flick feels great. You can reverse flick it. No problem. The studs are done extremely well. Love the studs. They're not too sharp like the other one I showed you there. You have, unfortunately, lightning anode collars trying to trick me again. Make me think that's Timascus. It's not. You have the blue line stuff. They always have these blue line ones. And a cool feature here is the wraparound backspacer, which is really nice. That's something we recently integrated into one of our designs that's not out yet. Really excited about that design and who we're working on it with. Stay tuned for that. But it has a wraparound backspacer that is helping us, hopefully. And I wish we had done this, but I had this idea because we were trying to solve the problem of a reversible clip on a knife like this, right? Without adding unnecessary holes and things like that. We were going to mount it from the rear. We were trying all these things. But the thing that we thought of, that I thought of, is you have a wraparound backspacer. So What we're going to do is tap, at least try to do, don't hold me to this. We're going to tap the frame underneath, right? So we're going to tap it for lefty and righty underneath. And then the backspacer will come like this, right-handed, where the clip is mounted on it. And it will look like any other knife with no lefty clip. But then we'll have available backspacers to either sell or provide for free that are lefty only. So you can get a wraparound backspacer that has the cuts and the holes for lefty. So that way you don't have any of that show side, left side nonsense, and lefties can get their fix. So I'm hoping that works, because it seemed like a great idea to me, but sometimes I miss things, like, you know, there's probably some structural reason we can't do this or something, but I'm hoping that works out, because it felt like a really good idea. And the design is absolutely fire. I would love to keep it clean like that. So, yeah, stay tuned for that. But anyway, the Wii Zithius is dope. They crushed this. It's a little too big for my taste. I don't need a knife this large. I can grab one of the larger knives in my collection, the Relative from LeftyEDC, and you can see it's bigger than that by quite a bit. Love this knife. Haven't carried it much lately, just been using a lot of other knives lately and dealing with Divo stuff. So, oh man, it's so nice. Love this knife. Maybe this Forest is a good size comparison. Nope, even that is quite a bit smaller. The Stout, Stout's gonna be, yeah, 3.3 inches on that Stout. I don't have anything bigger, honestly. That's what she said. So let's just check. I think I did this in the unboxing, now that I'm thinking about it. Yep, 3 3/4, a little bit over 3 3/4 to the handle. So 3.5 cutting edge, basically. It's a big boy, you know. But it's fantastic. They crushed this, guys. That's what I wanted to get to here. Nice black wash. It is a two-tone, but I like how it looks, because the flat kind of ends here and then it goes black. You know, you don't have a lot of it going on. So that is the Wii Knives Zithius. Fantastic knife. Highly recommend that one. You have the Ketuo Knives Telson. Not sure what the price point is, so hard to recommend. You have the Crispy Donut Community Salem. Really cool thing going on there. Love this gnarly blade shape. It's a really cool blade shape. And then we had the Mallory Designs Forest V2, which is on pre-order right now. So definitely check it out. Some different stuff here. We also had that Artisan, but hey. Let me know what you guys think down below. I love you guys. I hope you have a fantastic day. There's links down below to all of these that I can find or provide. And if there's discounts or anything like that, all down there. Love you guys. Hope you have a fantastic day. And I will catch you later.